Building tomorrow's safe and sustainable infrastructure is an important aspect of the ferry-free E39 project. And how best to include the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals of 2030 has been an important inspiration for the research set out by the Norwegian Public Roads Administration. Now, our group consists of PhD students and engineers from both NPRA, NTNU, University of Stavanger, and Chalmers University. First, we have Ashanafi, who works with protective measures from landslides. Then we have Jun Gao, who works with wave measurements and also wave-induced response of floating bridges. Then we have Nicolo, who works with wind measurements and also aerodynamics around floating bridges. Then there's myself, Thomas. I work with wave-induced response on floating bridges. And last but not least, we have Shen Hua, who works with sustainable urban drainage systems connected with the bridge. And together we are here to tell you how our research is trying to meet the goals set out by the UN.
Okay. As a group, when we look into the Sustainability Development Goals, we found these three goals, and to meet the infrastructure, we are trying to build a reliable, resilient, and sustainable infrastructures by considering the wave loads, the wind loads on the suspension bridges and floating bridges, so that it can serve the purpose to be open for the public and freight. And the next sustainability goal is safety. We want to make sure that it is safe for the structure is safe for the public, and also minimize or reduce the deaths that are incurred by the disasters related to, for example, flooding and contaminations, by treating it in the pond, by collecting it safely, reducing floods, and treating it before sending it to the environment. And the last one is the climate action. This is protecting the infrastructure by making it capable to the changing climate. For example, here, the frequently happening landslides that are endangering the structures, by protecting it using effective and low-cost or economical countermeasures. Yeah.
So the assets involved in our project can be classified as knowledge and data. The knowledge include methods, models, experiments, and new design. And these four aspects we used in different areas for each project. For example, the method is used to predict extreme values from limited data for the bridge project. And it is used to collect samples for the urban drainage system project. And the models are used to optimize design for the bridge project and to estimate the impact of environmental variables on the ecosystem for the drainage system project. And the experiments are used for validation, refining, and improvement for the bridge project, and to identify chemicals and organisms for the urban drainage system project. And the new design is used to reduce cost risk for the bridge project. And then the next data.
And now we would like to show a few examples of data and measurements we are dealing with in our research. When it comes to bridge response to wave and wind, we can rely on 500 hours of bridge response, or for example 5 years of wind measurements in a bridge site in a fjord. When it comes to the design of protective measures against landslide, we can do lab tests and basically measure impact forces on structures due to landslide. As a last example, we can collect water samples to assess the pollution levels in sediments and eventually identify the presence of organisms in the water.
Based on the research assets, which are the knowledge and data we have accumulated through the 3 research projects, we see that all the 3 projects we contribute to the same common UN Sustainable Development Goal, which is to build tomorrow's safe and sustainable infrastructure by addressing the climate and also safety issues. And to better integrate the UN development goals in the E39 Coastal Highway road project, we need to share our research results with our stakeholders. That includes the government agency, which is the Statens vegvesen, and also the politicians. We need to give them quantitative measures on how we can reduce the costs and by not compromising the safety or climate. And also we need to work with the contractors and the consulting companies very closely, because they are the real executors of these mega projects. And a safe and sustainable mindset in the very beginning of the design are extremely important for the entire project. And as you and me here sitting in this room, researchers, we are dealing with not only the fundamental problems, but also the technical challenges along this E39 project. But I think the problems or topics we're dealing with are not only applicable to the E39 project, but can well be applied to other relevant industry like offshore industry and also the renewable energy industry. So in these stuff we are dealing with, research institutes or the universities are extremely important for the next generation to have this safe and sustainable mindset. The last but not least part is the general public, and they are the end users of these infrastructures. And we need to hear the comments from them, but not often the good comments, but we need to hear from them, and that's also important that we have the communication and publicity with them to interact with each other for them to better informed of our researches in terms of have a better design for the infrastructures. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you.